Lily Carter hit the floor before she ever reached the stage. One moment she was walking toward her master's degree with her heart pounding in her chest. The next she was staring up at bright ceiling lights while voices blurred above her. "Miss? Can you hear me?" Someone called out as hands lifted her onto a stretcher. Hours later, still in her graduation gown in the ear, her phone buzzed. With shaking fingers she unlocked it. A new tag from her younger sister appeared. A smiling backyard photo. Her family laughing around a grill. The caption read, "Family Day without the drama." Lily closed her eyes. They didn't come. They never planned to. Lily grew up in a small Ohio neighborhood where neighbors waved from porches and kids rode bikes until sunset. But inside the Carter house things felt colder. Her mother, Karen, always described her younger daughter, Mia, as fragile and sensitive. Her father, Paul, used a different word for Lily. "You're the strong one," he always said, patting her shoulder as if handing her a job she never asked for. When something broke, Lily fixed it. When someone cried, Lily absorbed it. When Mia made a mistake, Lily covered it. It became the invisible law of the household. Birthday memories told the same story. Mia's birthdays came with balloons, sparkly banners, 20 kids running around the yard, and pink cupcakes stacked high. Lily's birthdays were quiet. A small cake, a paper plate, and her parents always saying, "We'll celebrate properly next year." But next year never arrived. One winter Lily had a fever so high the room spun. While she shivered on the couch, her mother rushed Mia into her dance recital dress. Her father said, "Be a good sport, Lily. We can't be late." The house door closed, leaving her alone with the sound of the heater clicking. She didn't cry, she already knew no one would hear her. Leaving for college in Boston felt like breathing air for the first time. Lily studied hard, worked 2 jobs, and slowly built a life that belonged to her. But the calls from home never stopped. "We're behind on the gas bill. Mia's card is maxed again. Can you send something this month?" Every request landed on her shoulders just like the old days. She transferred money she didn't have simply because that old sentence, "You're the strong one," still lived in her skin like a tattoo she couldn't remove. Boston gave her people who actually noticed her. Jenna, her coworker, forced warm soup into her hands on cold nights. "Stop saying you're fine when you're not," Jenna scolded gently. Mark from the ER would frown whenever she swayed during a shift. And Dr. Lane, her supervisor, only needed one look to say, "You're carrying too much, Lily." But Lily kept pushing. "Just 1 more week," she always told herself. "After graduation I'll rest." She didn't realize her body was counting down to a breaking point she could no longer outrun. As the months moved closer to graduation, Lily's life tightened like a rope being pulled from both ends. She worked full-time at the hospital, picked up weekend shifts at the cafe down the street, and squeezed her master's coursework into the leftover hours. People told her, "You're amazing, Lily," but she didn't feel amazing. He felt like she was disappearing. Every time she checked her phone there was something new from home. "Lily, we're short on the water bill again." "Mia's rent is late." "She's in a panic." "You're the strong one. Please help." She stared at her bank balance some nights wondering how numbers could feel like stones on her chest. But she still hit transfer. Her body tried to warn her. First came the shaking in her hands while writing patient notes. Then the dizziness, swift, sharp whenever she stood too fast. Sometimes her chest tightened so much she had to lean against a wall just to catch her breath. "I'm fine," she told herself. "Just tired." Jenna didn't buy it. "Lily, you look pale," she said one afternoon, placing a hand on Lily's shoulder. "I'm okay," Lily whispered. "No, you're not," Jenna replied softly. But Lily didn't slow down. She didn't know how. One evening after a brutal double shift, Lily sat in the break room and checked her phone. A notification blinked across the screen. Mia had tagged her. Expecting a meme, she opened it and froze. There was her family in the backyard again, grilling, laughing, smiling, sunlight warm on their faces. The caption read, "Family Day without the drama." Lily's stomach dropped. "A joke?" Mark asked, walking past and noticing her expression. Lily swallowed hard. "I don't think they meant it as one." She turned off her phone and pressed her thumb into the table edge until her skin burned. A few nights later, while walking home, the world shifted beneath her feet. The sidewalk tilted like a moving floor. She grabbed a rail, breathing slowly as her heartbeat thundered in her ears. "Just exhaustion," she whispered to herself, pushing forward. But the signs kept coming. At work, the numbers on a patient's monitor blurred so badly she blinked 3 times just to read them. Mark touched her arm gently. "Lily, sit down." "I'm fine," she insisted, though her voice trembled. She kept going because that's what she always did: move, push, endure. The morning of graduation arrived bright and sharp. Campus buildings sparkled in the sun, families carried flowers, and excitement filled the air. Lily forced a smile at classmates as she adjusted her gown, trying to ignore how her hands trembled. She checked her phone for a text from home. Nothing. When the ceremony began, she scanned the bleachers again and again. No familiar faces. Not even one. Her phone buzzed. "Karen, traffic is bad. We'll get there soon." Another message seconds later. "Go ahead without us." Lily tucked her phone into her sleeve and whispered to herself, "Of course." Then the dean called her name. Lily stood, took one shaky step toward the stage, and didn't see the world tilt until it was too late. Lily's legs gave out before she reached the first step. Gasps rippled through the audience as she hit the ground hard, her vision exploding into white stars. Voices crowded around her, urgent, overlapping. "Call the medic." "Is she breathing?" "Give her space." But all Lily heard was a long, distant roar in her ears, like waves crashing far away. Everything dimmed. The banners, the cheering crowd, the sunlight faded. And then darkness swallowed her whole. When she finally woke, she was surrounded by the sterile brightness of an ER room. Machines beeped steadily, and an 4 tugged gently at her arm. Dr. Harris leaned over her bed with a calm but serious look. "Lily, you fainted from severe exhaustion," he said. "Stress, dehydration, heart strain, you've been pushing too hard." Lily blinked slowly. "Are my parents here?" she whispered. The doctor hesitated just long enough for her breath to catch. "We contacted them several times," he said. No one arrived. A quiet ache spread through her chest, deeper than the exhaustion ever had. Hours later, when her hands finally stopped trembling, Lily reached for her phone. A new notification waited. Mia had tagged her again. Lily opened it and stared at the image until her eyes burned. Her family stood in the backyard laughing, grilling, passing plates of food like it was the happiest day of the year. The same caption again, "Family Day without the drama." Lily whispered, "They didn't miss graduation. They just didn't care." It was not heartbreak, it was clarity. Lily was discharged 2 days later, still weak, still dizzy, moving like a person whose body didn't fully trust her anymore. She returned to her small Boston apartment and dropped her hospital papers on the counter. The evening light poured in softly through the window. Then her phone buzzed violently. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When she finally picked it up, the screen read, 75 missed calls. Her stomach tightened. Not from guilt, something colder. She scrolled through the messages. "Why aren't you answering? Pick up, this is serious. You need to come home." And then, "Mia messed up. We need you." Lily's hands shook as she opened the images her father sent. A bank notice. Loan papers. Payment warnings. Her eyes caught on something, her own name listed as the borrower. Her signature. Except it wasn't her real signature, it was the old one she'd used once on a rental form years ago. "They copied it," Lily whispered. Her pulse pounded, but not from fear, from anger awakening slowly after years of silence. Her parents hadn't called about her collapse. Not a single message. They called now because they needed something. Because she was leverage. She didn't call back. Instead, she texted one person. "Lily, can you come? I need you." 20 minutes later, Jenna rushed into the apartment carrying soup and worry etched on her face. "What happened?" Jenna asked, kneeling beside her. Lily handed her the phone. Jenna read the messages one by one. Her jaw tightened until her teeth pressed together. "Lily, this is fraud," she said slowly. The word hung in the air like a bell. Fraud. Something Lily had never allowed herself to name. Jenna sat beside her on the bed. "We're not doing this again. You're not letting them pull you under." Lily nodded weakly. Jenna reached for her laptop. "We're calling someone who can help." That night, Lily joined a video call with a financial attorney Jenna recommended. Her hands shook so badly she had to hold the phone with both of hers. The attorney studied the documents for a long moment before saying, "This is unauthorized use of your information. You are not responsible for this loan." What they did is illegal. Legal. Another truth Lily had been too afraid to acknowledge. The attorney walked her through everything: protections, next steps, how to block them from using her information again, how to respond if they pressured her. Tell them you are aware of the forgery, he said, and that you will not be participating. The words terrified her. The words freed her. When the call ended, Lily sat frozen in the quiet of her room. Jenna took her hand gently. You're not alone anymore, Jenna whispered. For the first time, Lily believed someone meant it. The next morning at dawn, her phone rang again. Jenna nodded at her. Speaker, she whispered. Lily pressed the button. Her mother's voice burst through the phone. Lily, finally. Do you know how stressed we've been? Why didn't you answer? Lily replied softly, I was in the hospital. A beat of silence. Then her mom cleared her throat. Well, yes, but Mia is in trouble and right now we need you to focus. Of course. Always Mia. Her father jumped in, voice booming. You need to call the bank today. They won't talk to us without you. Your sister's future is at risk. Lily leaned back against the couch cushion, her voice calm. Dad, you used my signature without my permission. A cold, heavy pause followed. Her mother snapped. We only did it because you're responsible. Stop being dramatic, Lily. That word. Dramatic. The same word Mia used in her tag while Lily lay in the ER. Lily's voice was steady when she spoke again. I'm not signing anything. I'm not fixing this. Not anymore. Her father's tone sharpened immediately. Excuse me? Do you even understand what happens if you don't help? We could lose the house. Lily kept her gaze on Jenna, who gave her a small, steady nod. I understand, Lily said quietly. And I'm still not signing. Her mother gasped. You're being selfish. Think about your family. For 27 years I have, Lily said. Every single time. Her father growled. This isn't up for discussion. You will help. Lily inhaled deeply. No. I won't. Jenna whispered. Say it. Lily swallowed and spoke clearly into the phone. I talked to an attorney. What you did is illegal. If you keep contacting me about this loan, I'll take legal action. The silence that followed felt like a deep, dark pit. Then her dad exploded. You're threatening us? I'm protecting myself, Lily replied softly. Her mother's voice changed instantly from anger to desperation. Lily, please. We need you. Just this once. Mom, Lily said, it's never just once. It never has been. For a moment no one spoke. The only sound was Lily's unsteady breathing. Her father finally snapped. If you walk away, don't expect us to come back to you when things calm down. Lily closed her eyes. I'm not walking away from family. I'm walking away from being used. Her mother whimpered softly. Mia can't handle this on her own. She's going to have to learn, Lily said. Then she did something she had never done in her entire life. She pressed the red button. The call ended. Jenna let out a long, shaky breath. Lily, you did it. Lily stared at her phone, stunned. I actually said no. Not just no, Jenna said. You protected yourself. Lily's hands trembled not from fear but from release. Jenna took her shoulders gently. You're allowed to rest now. You're allowed to choose yourself. Lily nodded slowly, letting the truth settle inside her like warm light. For the first time, the weight on her chest didn't feel permanent. That afternoon, Lily started cutting ties. She removed her name from every joint account. She canceled old automatic payments she'd forgotten existed. She reset passwords, closed access, documented everything. Each step felt like snipping a thread that had held her captive for years. At one point, Jenna peeked into the room and asked, You okay? Lily gave a small smile. I think I am. By sunset, she had freed herself from every financial chain her family had tied around her. Standing by her window, she whispered, I'm not your answer anymore. Recovery came slowly. Lily took time off work. She really slept for the first time in years. She attended therapy sessions where she learned to say words she'd never been allowed to think. Boundaries, rest, needs, protection. Some days she cried from exhaustion. Other days she cried from relief. One morning in therapy she said, I don't know who I am without fixing things. Her therapist smiled gently. Then this is your chance to find out. The idea frightened her and thrilled her. Weeks passed and Lily felt her strength returning in small ways. She cooked breakfast without rushing. She walked through the city without gripping her phone in fear of the next crisis. She even laughed more real, unguarded laughter. Jenna became like family. She'd show up with groceries, check on Lily, and sometimes sit quietly beside her on the couch. One night, Jenna handed her a mug of tea and said, "You know, this is what care is supposed to look like." Lily blinked back tears. "I'm still getting used to it." News about her family reached her through a neighbor from back home, Mrs. Turner, who still called Lily on holidays. "The loan defaulted," Mrs. Turner said one afternoon. "The bank is stepping in. Well, she's struggling. A lot." Lily exhaled slowly. "I'm sorry she's going through that." "Child, this was never your burden," Mrs. Turner replied. Lily nodded. For once she believed it. She didn't feel guilty. She didn't feel responsible. She felt free. Meanwhile, Lily's life in Boston shifted into something gentler. She moved into a small studio filled with morning light. She applied for a new clinical position, one that respected boundaries and didn't glorify burnout. On her first day there, a nurse said, "We don't do heroes here. We do teamwork." Lily smiled. "Good. I'm tired of being a hero." And she meant it. Spring arrived slowly, covering Boston in soft green leaves. One evening, Lily walked home beneath the budding trees and realized something strange. Her chest felt light. She wasn't waiting for the next crisis. She wasn't bracing for the next demand. She wasn't shrinking herself to survive. For the first time in her life, she was living for herself. As she unlocked her apartment door, she whispered with a small smile, "This is my life now." And she stepped inside, knowing she had finally chosen herself and survived. One Saturday morning, Lily sat by her window reading when her phone buzzed. It wasn't her parents. It wasn't Mia. It was an unknown number from Ohio. She hesitated before answering. "Hello." A quiet female voice replied, "Lily, it's Mia." Lily froze. She hadn't heard her sister's voice in months. "What do you need?" she asked gently. Mia sniffed. "Things are bad. Really bad." Lily closed her book slowly. "Go on." Mia's words spilled out through shaky breaths. "I didn't know the loan was in your name. Mom and Dad told me it was theirs. They said you offered to help. They said you didn't mind." Lily felt her chest tighten. "Mia, they forged my signature." Silence. Mia whispered, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know." Lily leaned her head back against the wall. "It's not your apology I needed. I needed honesty." Mia cried softly on the other end. "I don't know how to fix anything." "That's something you have to figure out," Lily said softly. Mia tried again. "Can you just talk to the bank for me? Please? Just this once." Lily's throat tightened, hearing the old pattern trying to return. "No," she said firmly. Mia choked on a sob. "But I'm scared." "I know," Lily said. "But my fear never saved me. And yours won't save you. You have to learn to stand on your own." For the first time in her life, she didn't step into the fire for someone else. After the call, Lily sat quietly on the edge of her bed. Jenna walked in with 2 mugs of tea. "That sounded intense," Jenna said softly. "It was," Lily replied. "But I didn't break. You don't have to protect everyone." Lily nodded. "I know. I'm done fixing problems I didn't create." Jenna smiled proudly. "Good. That's growth." Summer arrived in Boston with warm air and busy streets. Lily found herself smiling more at strangers, at coworkers, at simple things she had once been too exhausted to notice. She took weekend walks along the river. She joined a cooking class. She even bought a tiny plant for her windowsill. "I can't believe it's still alive," Jenna teased one day. Lily laughed. "I think we're both learning how to take care of ourselves." One afternoon at her new job, Lily finished helping a patient when her supervisor, Dr. Lane, stopped her. "You're doing excellent work here," he said warmly. Lily smiled. "Thank you. It feels different here." "That's because we value your well-being." Lily met his eyes. "I'm learning to value it too." Dr. Lane nodded. "That's the hardest part. And the most important." As the months passed, Lily's parents sent fewer messages. They never apologized, not truly. Their last text to her read, "We hope you're doing well." Lily stared at it for a long moment before replying, "I am." She didn't add anything else. He didn't need to. For the first time it wasn't a lie. Mia sent updates occasionally. I'm working 2 jobs now, she wrote once. Another time, I'm saving money for the first time. Slowly, very slowly, Mia seemed to learn responsibility. Lily felt no anger, only distance. Healthy distance. You don't have to go back, her therapist reminded her. I'm not going back, Lily said. But I can move forward. One cool evening in September, Lily stood on her apartment balcony overlooking the city lights. Jenna stepped beside her with 2 cups of hot chocolate. You're quiet tonight, Jenna said. Just thinking, Lily replied. About them. A little. But mostly about me. Jenna smiled softly. You've come a long way. Lily looked out at the glowing skyline. Yeah. I finally have. Lily remembered the moment she collapsed on her graduation day. The fear, the darkness, the loneliness. At first she thought that moment had broken her life. Now she realized it had saved her. Sometimes your body speaks the truth your heart is too afraid to say, her therapist once told her. Lily whispered to herself, I'm glad it spoke. She built new traditions, new routines, new memories that belonged only to her. She spent holidays with friends who actually cared about her presence. She bought herself a cake on her birthday, not a small one, not a paper plate afterthought. A real cake with strawberries and whipped cream. Jenna sang loudly and off-key, and Lily laughed until her stomach hurt. It was simple. And it was everything. Months later, as she walked home under golden streetlights, her phone vibrated with a message from Mia. I'm proud of you, it read. Lily stared at the message for a long time. He typed back. I hope you're finding your strength too. And for the first time in their lives, it felt honest between both of them. One night, Lily sat on her balcony again, watching the city breathe around her. She thought about the girl she used to be, the girl who fixed everything, who carried everything, who broke under the weight of everyone else's needs. That version of her was gone. In her place stood someone softer, stronger, freer. Someone who understood that love without care isn't love at all. She whispered into the cool night air, I choose me now. And she finally felt whole. Moral lesson. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. You cannot save everyone, especially people who refuse to save themselves. Real strength begins the moment you protect your own peace. Thanks you for watching, and please remember to tell us where you are watching from today. Hit the like button, comment and subscribe to this channel for more of this.